Hi everyone, how are you? Today is Wednesday, December the 18th. It is the last day that my kids are in school before the winter break. So I'm trying to take advantage of this time to record a podcast for everyone. This will be the last Queen City Yarn Dying to Knit podcast of the year. I think that today's episode is episode 21, but I didn't make any kind of show notes today. I just wanted to get it recorded. So anyway, I'm Kristen, and this is a podcast about knitting and yarn dyeing and spinning and crochet and weaving, just pretty much my adventures in making things. So if today is your first time viewing, welcome and thanks so much for checking me out. I hope you like it, and if you do the like and subscribe thing. And if you're coming back for more, thanks again for coming back and spending some time with me. And yeah, I hope that you are all having a really great December and enjoying this holiday time with your friends and family. I have 2 little kids, and I know that we are doing lots of fun, crafty kind of things. We spent some time over the weekend decorating ugly sweater Christmas cookies. And we didn't actually bake the cookies. I found this kit at the grocery store, and we just had such a good time doing it as a family. My husband even decorated one. I posted a picture on Instagram, but of the ones that I and my kids made, but my husband ate his as soon as he got it decorated. So there was no picture of his, but it was epic. It was really awesome. Speaking of Instagram, you can find me on Instagram as Kristen C. That's CHRISTENC. And on Ravelry, I'm just Kristen. I also post on Instagram as Queen City Yarn. And you can find all of the yarn at queencityyarn.com. And also, we have a Ravelry group for the podcast and Queen City Yarn happenings. And that's the Queen City Yarn group on Ravelry. And then something else. See, this is why I have notes. I'm not even on point on the intro. My designs are on Ravelry, and I'm Kristen Clement Designs. So anyway, I don't have any finished objects to show. Well, I have some some crochet squares to show. They're eventually going to become a blanket, so they're finished squares. I wove the ends in on the ones that I've done. I'm actually working on today's square now. I'm not at a point with crochet where I can do it really without looking. But I really am enjoying this. This is today's Advent square. If you watched last episode, a couple weeks ago, I think, I showed the Advent calendar that my friend Alexis made for me. And so we exchanged Advent calendars, and hers was gorgeous that she made for me. But I've been keeping up every day and crocheting a granny square to be added to my blanket. So these are all the ones that I've done since last episode to show you. So they're just lots of really fun ones. This one's self-striping. This is a really pretty purple. I don't know what days they were. They were all just random. This looks like the Kirby Werby colorway that she did for the Carolina Fiber Girls Socktober years ago. I don't remember the name of this colorway, but it's gorgeous. And I have socks in that colorway. I think this is a copper corgi, I think. My friend Sarah. This looks like one of her Socktober colorways from a while ago. This one's pretty. I'm really excited to get all of these done, and I'm really excited to actually make a blanket. I mentioned that I'm going to just do like a mashup blanket of kind of piecing together all of the different blanket starts that I have going, like my barn raising quilt blanket, these granny squares, and I'm using the pattern for these squares I'm using is by Natalie, who's Nitty Natty, and she designs under Love and Stitches, and she also has a super cute podcast, and she's doing the Vlogmas thing, and she's also making these squares. So anyway, here's let's see, 12 of them, I guess. 12 days worth. Well, almost, because I'm working on this one. One thing that I did do is I got this new crochet hook, just to kind of make it fun. And it's actually, the thing looks like granny squares. And this was a hook that I bought because of a recommendation of the yarn hoarder, Amber. She talks about these hooks on her podcast. And let's put this one away so I don't lose it. It's Happy Polymer Crochet Hooks is the person. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see, maybe it's better on this one. No, you can't really see. Oh, this side. I don't know if she wants the code on there. She sent a discount code for Polymer Clay Creations, and it's happypolymercrochet.com. And she has a bunch of different designs, and you choose what size hook you want. And yeah, so I got that as like a fun thing for my crochet. And my squares are living in a Suburban Stitcher bag that I got as part of a kit a while back. And on this side, I bought this little heart with a crochet hook, pin, and a crown. I bought it because it had a crown on it, because Queen City Yarn, our logo, has a crown. I got one for Janice that's knitting needles in it, sticking in a yarn ball heart, and gave that to her as part of her, I think it was part of her birthday gift. She's got a birthday and Christmas, are right next to each other, so you gotta split them up. So anyway, those are the finished things I have. I'm drinking a caramel latte today that I made, and I'm using this mug from Starbucks that my daughter got me for Christmas a few years ago, and it looks like it has cables on it. The year that they made these mugs, they also had little tree ornaments that were the cable mug, and my kids and husband also got me that for Christmas because I love coffee, I love Starbucks, and I love knitting, so it was all good. The next Advent thing that I have to show is my Cozy Knitter Advent socks, and that's this, the 2019 Advent skein, and this is by the Cozy Knitter. Here, she's got her website there, and this is the Bliss fingering weight. It's an 80-20 blend, and so I have this in this sparkle Woodsy and Wild bag, which I totally love. And it's like separated apart by the center thing, which is super nice because the skeins came already in 50-gram skeins. I'm using my Gelby stitch stopper to kind of hold them while I'm not working on them, because I'm doing just one stripe a day on each sock, and I'm just knitting them in tandem. I have not yet done today's stripe. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm really loving these. I think I'm only going to do these 24 stripes, and then I'll add the toe and cut in the heel. And I'll definitely have yarn left over, so I may make socks for my kids or something with it. I think Caitlin would really love it if we had matching socks. So let me show you one of the skeins. I'm pulling from the center, so it's so pretty. I love self-striping yarn. So anyway, I'm really enjoying that, and I'm working just one stripe a day. Usually I do it in the morning. Usually also I finish my granny square in the morning with coffee, but I didn't finish either today because I wanted to get moving and get a podcast recorded before I go to lunch with a friend for my last day of kid-free time. But wait, there's more Christmas socks. I've been really enjoying Christmas sock knitting this year. This one is in a mommy sew bag, and this is my Curvy Wurby Advent socks, and this is the Christmas Vacation Advent socks, and she has a paper with a list of like why each, like the name of each color stripe. So I have a little start for the second one. I'm almost done with the cuff because I didn't do a super long cuff. I think I have to finish this yellow stripe, I think, and then I'll be, let's see, yep, finish this yellow stripe, and then I'm not making them match because it's 24 stripes. So this is the ball, and this is Kirby Werby Christmas Vacation Advent 2019, and this is on the Soft and Squishy. This is a 75-25 blend, which I really love for socks because I think, oh, I have a Lego guy in my bag. I don't know why was I holding that for him? Oh, we drove around over the weekend and we're looking at Christmas lights one evening after dinner, and I was knitting the cuff of this sock. I had just started it before we left the house and did a little bit in the car while we were looking at Christmas lights, and my son was in the back and had brought a Lego guy to play with, but then he didn't want to play with them anymore because he wanted to look at the Christmas lights, which I totally understand. So I put a marker in here. This right here is the end of the repeat. This purple stripe was the last stripe in the 24 stripe repeat. So I just wanted to show you, isn't that cool? It's so, so pretty. It's just crazy colors and I love it. And then this, I think it's from Sucre Miniatures, this little gingerbread man. He lost one of his eyes. So he's like a pirate gingerbread man. Anyway, he's marking where I'm going to cut in the heel on this sock. And I usually like to make my cuff and my foot about the same length before the heel, and that worked out perfectly here. And I am going to just use the striping yarn. I'm going to have these just be all stripes, all the same yarn, but I wanted to cast on the second sock because we were driving around, and that was going to be easier for me than looking at a heel, like when to do the heel decreases and stuff in the dark. So yeah, I've got the first one done except for the heel, and I'm working on the second one, and I'm hoping to have these done by Christmas. I would love to have them done sooner because I have another skein of sock yarn wound up, which I don't think I've showed on the podcast, but it's in my, like, one of my favorite Christmas bags by my friend Java Jenny of the Kitchen Counter Crafter. And I need to like finish one of these socks so that I can like reward myself and knit the pair of socks that I have yarn for in that bag. So, but I still have two more pairs on the needles to show you now. This is in a, what is this? I think it's Stitched by Sasha. I don't believe she makes bags anymore. I heard about her bags from Shannon, Minerva Turkey, back when she was podcasting, which I loved her podcast. But anyway, I found out about this maker from her, and I think it was this fabric too that she had, and I just fell in love with it and scored one before she quit. I don't think she's making bags anymore. Yeah, Stitched by Sasha. But anyway, it's cute snowmen, and then the inside is all these like fun Christmassy polka dots. So the socks I'm working on in here are Rock and String Creations, and I'm using the Jitterbug fingering in the Reindeer Games colorway. And then I used some Queen City yarn jam session for the toe to start it out. These are toe up. I haven't done toe up in a while. So I'm doing toe up, and I put markers on either side here where I'm going to put my heel. And the reason I put them on either side instead of like right in the middle is because it'll just be easy for me to know where the center is to cut and how far out to go to. I didn't do that on the Kirby Werby socks, but I did on these. So I'm getting kind of close to, now I'm like halfway through the leg, because I'll probably make these, I'll probably knit, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more stripes, and then do the cuff. And I think I'm going to do the cuff in red also. So this is our jam session colorway, Queen City yarn. And these are some minis. We had some minis of this. I think I had them They were already wound up, so it made it really easy to choose. It's actually more of a blue purple than is showing on the screen. For me, right now, it's looking a little bit more on the orangey side, but it's not. It's a red. Blue purple. Oh my gosh. More of a blue red. Maybe I should have another sip of my coffee, you think? Okay. So, I'm using minis for that. And the needles that I'm using here are these CHRISTEN twist interchangeable like sock size needles. Oh, you can't really see that. So they have super small joints. I don't know. Showing you the package of the needles is not gonna show you that much. But they're interchangeable sock weight needles. They're CHRISTEN, which is my favorite kind of needle. And these have an even thinner cord, but it's still that nice cable that they've got there, cord. And the needles just screw on. The joint is really nice. I love CHRISTEN needles. One is a little bit bent from how I hold it, I suppose. Anyway, so I'm using these for this sock here. I don't know where all my size 1 like fixed needles are. Probably scattered around in socks throughout the house, car, and other wherever. And let's see, this one, I haven't knit any on this one since I showed it last. This is in, what bag is this? I don't know the maker of this bag. I don't know, but it's cute. It's got deer with scarves and trees with scarves. Super cute. So in this bag is Regia, Arne and Carlos design line, and I have just the cuff, and I've just started. Put it on the circular. I may take this with me to lunch today because I'll get a lot done. It's so fast because it's DK weight yarn. So I'm actually knitting these socks on US size 3. I'm using a 9-inch circular. I did the cuff on a 32-inch magic loop, and then I just switched over to the 9-inch circular. So I'm doing that for another pair of DK socks for me. I have the skein of self-striping in the Java Jenny bag that I'm itching to start, and I also have a skein of West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas sock yarn that I'd really love to be knitting on over the holidays too. So as soon as I get one of these pairs done, I'm casting on the next, if I can wait. Because in all honesty, I just want to cast them on like this very moment. But that's it for socks right now. I do have a couple other things to show. I have a sweater and a shawl and a sweater that I'm going to knit soon. So let me show you the shawl first. And this is in my Plystra bag. Look at this pin. My friend Lori gave this to me as part of my Christmas gift. It's got wine and yarn. And that's totally my jam. We do knit nights sometimes, and that's what's happening. Oh, I'm mid-row. Wah, wah. But okay, so this shawl that I'm knitting is called Ashbrook, and it's by the designer Tammy Gore, which she just released a design in Queen City Yarn in our Biddleville DK called the Amari shawl, which is beautiful. If I remember, I'll try at the end, I'll try and put, or maybe I can put a picture in here. Yes, I'll do that. I'll put a picture of the Amari shawl in here so you can see it. It's really a gorgeous, it's a DK weight design that she just released here in the past little bit. So in the last time I showed you this shawl, I was here, like before the bobbles, but it looked different because I was using this caramely, it's called Copper Penny color, where I'm using the hand-painted London Fog color. All right, so I will knit the rest of this row while I talk to you about these bobbles. So the pattern, the bobble directions in the pattern just did not make sense to me. I couldn't make a bobble by following the directions. And I think it's just because I'm not super familiar with bobble knitting. So I tried and it wasn't working. And so I went on YouTube and found, I wonder if I can find that tutorial I used. If I can find the tutorial that I used, I'll link it. It was a really good tutorial, and it had like different types of baubles that you could make, like depending on how many stitches you wanted to use. And so I found a bauble that increased to the number of stitches that she increases her bauble to in her directions. And then I think for me what was missing in the directions in the pattern was that you make the extra stitches in the bauble. Oh, hold on, it just froze on me. Okay, we're back. You make the extra stitches in the bauble, but then from what I was understanding from the directions in the pattern, you don't actually work those stitches that you've made. And so my baubles were not being baubles. I don't know. And I may have just missed something or misunderstood something, but the tutorial that I used actually had you do the increase stitches on the one stitch, the bauble stitch, right? And then you work those stitches either 2 times or 4 times before then like binding off that bauble, essentially like closing it up and making it become a bauble. And so I ended up working the stitches twice before closing the bauble, and that worked well for me. And I'll show you my baubles pop, which is cool. And they ended up working out pretty well. Also, I taught myself how to knit backwards while working the baubles, because it was like it was like 4 stitches, and there's baubles across the whole row, like, well, scattered across the whole row. And so with that, I didn't want to have to turn my work a million times. So I learned how to knit backwards, which made sense to me from dropping stitches and picking stitches up. So let me see. Let me just look and see what I'm supposed to do at the end of this row, because I'm at the last stitch. Okay. All right, so there's an increase. I haven't worked on this in a couple days, so that's why. And evidently I put it down to go do something and stopped mid-row. So now you can see it's looking really nice. So what I had before was I was using this caramel color next to the raspberry truffle is what this color is called. This one is London Fog, and then the caramely one is Copper Penny. And I decided after ripping back my attempt at baubles that I was going to switch the colors up, and I'm glad I did. I really like the way it's working up. But you can see these baubles actually do pop off of the knitting, and this is even pre-blocking. So yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm glad that there was only the 3 rows of baubles, because I wouldn't say that I totally enjoy making the baubles, but I'm really glad that I learned how to do it. I always love to learn a new skill, and I'm enjoying it. So now I think I do garter for a while, which is cool, which will be really good knitting here coming up soon. With the holidays coming up, I can just garter stitch. You don't really have to think about. But yeah, I'm loving it. So the yarn that I'm using for this pattern is Old Soul Fiber Co. And my friend Danny actually dyed these skeins, which makes them really special to me. So this colorway is called Raspberry Truffle. This colorway is called London Fog, which is, I believe, the exclusive color for, I don't know if Sam sells this in her shop or if Danny just sells this at her shop. She's opened up a teaching studio in Greenville, South Carolina. But this is Danny's color, London Fog. And then this one is called Copper Penny. But they're really beautiful. It's all a 2-ply. She calls it her Soul Twist. So it's an 80-20 blend. And it's working up really nice. 2-plies are so nice and like fluffy, bouncy, kind of. I'm really enjoying it. It's more of a round, plump, more of a plump base than the 75-25 that I often use for socks and sweaters too. So anyway, I'm really enjoying it. And it's fun because the shawl is done in like different sections. There's the garter section first, and then a stripe of the other one, and then the bobbles, and now it's garter again. So it's kind of potato chippy in that way, that you can just like do a chunk at a time and then put it down. It's not like you have to keep going and finish something, I feel like, anyway, for me. Okay. I have one more in progress thing to show, and this is in a Tanny Casey bag, which I really like. I think the fabric is really pretty, and it's got this gold is like sparkle on there. It's like, not sparkle, it's like metallic. So, that makes me happy. Okay, and the sweater, in this bag is my sweater that I've been working on. And this is the Tide Chart by Amy Miller. And I got the body done. Yay, I'm so excited. I got the body done. And actually, where this unicorn is where I was the last time we chatted. So I've done all of that, the body, the ribbing, and I did a tubular bind off because I just love the way it looks. It looks so neat. So I did a tubular bind off. Of course, I ran out. I didn't get a big enough piece. I have a little blip there where I had to join a new yarn, a new strand of yarn, but doesn't it look pretty? I love a tubular bind off and cast on. I know it's a little extra effort, but I think it's really worth it. It just really looks beautiful. So I am working on the second sleeve. I have, I'm marking all of my, here, I'll show you this side. I'm marking all of my decreases so I can make sure I'm doing them where I'm supposed to. And when I'm doing this, because I'm going to mark each one, I hang on the first decrease all the markers that I need, so I know I do the correct number of decreases. And so I only have 2 more decrease rows to go. So I'm getting close to finishing the first sleeve. I hope that I have enough yarn. I'm feeling like I'm gonna run out, but it's I'm using Queen City yarn. So obviously I know the dyer because I'm the dyer. So I can dye myself some more if I need to, but the colorway that I'm using is, that ball's falling apart, is October, and it's a gray base with neutral fun speckles. And the pattern that I'm doing is Tide Chart by Amy Miller, and she designed this for Plucky Knitter. So yeah, so I just have, you know, the rest of the first sleeve, the second sleeve, and then the collar to do. And yeah, I'm hoping that I don't have to dye more yarn for this, because I don't think I have any of this yarn in stock to like be like, I'm just gonna take this one out of the shop, because this color goes pretty quickly. So anyway, yeah, right now it's like it's kind of long. I'm gonna shorten the sleeve a bit. See my plug in the back for my lights. So anyway, I'm really excited about this sweater. I hope that I will be able to get it done soon, because I'd like to have it to wear for the holidays, because it's really, really cozy and comfortable. I know because my mom knit one, and yeah, it's like a sweatshirt sweater, but like a dressy sweatshirt because it's a sweater, right? Okay, so that is all the things that I have been working on. I do want to show you one other thing, and it's a purchase. And I'll just say, I watched, what's it called? My So-Called Handmade Life is a podcast, and it was a podcast that I'd never watched before, but it came up as like one of the recommendations on YouTube when I was watching knitting podcasts, and it's, this bad planning. I don't remember her name, but she showed over 100 sweaters, like, and put them on and talked about them. And it was such a cool episode. It was a few hours long, as you can imagine, with over 100 sweaters. But she talked about all the patterns and the yarns that she used. And it was really cool to see, because she, in the beginning, and I don't know if she continued like chronologically how she had knit them, you know, in order or whatever. But in the beginning, she was showing projects, like much older projects from, the early 2000s, I guess. And it was really cool to see because a lot of those projects were projects that I saw when I first started knitting, or really got into knitting and was looking on knitty.com. And when Ravelry started, the patterns that people were making, but I wasn't yet knitting garments and that kind of stuff. But seeing them brought back those memories, which was pretty cool. And some things that I had made that I was like, oh man, yeah, the fit on that wasn't great for me either. But a lot of what she talked about when she was showing her sweaters was what yarn she had used. And then at the end, she talked about how much the yarn had cost. And so I was thinking about it and thinking, well, when I first started knitting, I used yarn that was much less expensive than the yarn that I use now, just because of where we are in our lives and the type of budget that I have for my craft now. But it doesn't make the yarn that I was using then any less good, or some of it may wear differently, right? But also some of it, it's just different yarn that you're using. I guess I'm not really explaining how it made me feel, but I just felt really grateful for being able to use indie dyed yarn all the time for my sweaters, and things that I make. Partially that's because I'm a yarn dyer, so I have it at my fingertips and I can use it when I want to for a project and justify it by saying, no, I'll let it be a shop sample when I'm not wearing it, So that makes it kind of easy to justify using hand-dyed yarn for most of my projects. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the yarns that I used to use, and that I used more often back when I was a newer knitter, and also thinking about things that I had seen recently that kind of called for less expensive or different fiber content, fiber makeups of yarns. And so I've done some crafts recently with my kids that we used acrylic yarn for, because that's what the kind of craft kind of called for. And so this train of thought, I guess, is not. Anyway, it was an awesome episode, and she was showing all these sweaters. And she was talking about the yarn that she was using. And then she was talking about the fit of the garments that she really likes, the ones that fit her and are dressier looking, but that she doesn't wear that often. And that's really true with me, rings true with me as well. A lot of the garments that I make that are more fitted and more dressy, I don't wear quite as often. I wore them a lot when I was working, in an office, and I would wear cardigans to work all the time, and I have a lot of fancy cabled cardigans that I spent a lot of time on knitting. But now I'm more likely to grab a cozy pullover, a boxy style sweater by Hohi or something like that, just because that's where I am kind of with life, and I don't have to be as dressy at home or wherever I need to go. So I was thinking about the boxy sweaters, or the cozy sweaters that I want to knit. She showed a sweater that she had knit for her husband and said that, she steals it some, and I do that for my husband's hoodies too, just because they're all cozy and worn in and oversized, So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about yarn, and then I was thinking about my friend Wendy, Silly Frew, and I say friend because I watch her podcast, so I feel like we're friends. I know that a couple of my actual in real life friends know her, and so I don't know, I feel like I know her. So if you're watching, hi Wendy, it's your friend Kristen. But she has recently, in the past year, knit a sweater called the Winston pullover. And I remember her talking about just how affordable the yarn was that she had gotten for this pattern. And this is a pattern by Jane Richmond, and it's called the Winston pullover, and it's just a cozy, oversized sweater, which is totally my style. The sweater calls for Lion brand yarn, the Woolies Thick and Quick, and Wendy had used this yarn as well. And not this colorway. I think hers was pink. And maybe she pulled out her sweater and knitted a different sweater. I remember her knitting the sweater and showing a couple of renditions of it because of the neckline. She had changed it or something. But anyway, so I was looking at this and I was like, wow, you know, this sweater, this is like bulky yarn. This sweater is going to knit up in like a day, and it's going to be super cozy and comfy. And wouldn't that be great for the holidays? So I went to linebrand.com and they had 40% off. So not only is this yarn, you know, inexpensive to begin with, because I don't know, it doesn't actually say the price on there for what it normally is. I think it's like $9 or something like that. I got a sweater quantity to make this oversized bulky sweater for $26. Right? That's so cheap. Like, it's so inexpensive to be able to knit this cozy sweater. So I'm really excited. The colorway that I got is called Abalone or Abalone. I don't know. But it's really pretty. It's like a graphite kind of gray, like charcoaly gray with pops of color. So I'm really excited. I feel like I'm going to knit this whole sweater in one day. I kind of doubt it because my time doesn't usually go like that, but I feel like I could, if I could sit down and have coffee all day long, I could totally knit this sweater in one day. It uses size 17 needles, right? Oh, and another thing about this pattern is, I don't want to share too much to show the secret sauce or whatever, but she's got, here, I can show this part. She's got the, I can't think of the name. She has the sweater with the measurements, and there's a name for that, and I can't think of what it is right now because I haven't finished my coffee. But so it tells you the measurements on here, and then there's charts so that you can look through and find like what you need to write in for your pattern. And it's actually like a worksheet page, and I'm not going to show it because it has the pattern on it, but there's a worksheet page, and you go off of the chart, the table, for your size, and you just fill in numbers, and then you just have a one-page pattern, which, yay that. It's going to be awesome. So I'm excited. A $26 sweater. I haven't knit with Line Brand in a really long time. I used to use Lion Brand woolies quite a bit for hats and mittens and things like that, and also like when I was doing craft shows, I used Lion Brand a lot. That was way back when I first started knitting, and I would knit things just because I wanted to be knitting, and then I'd go sell them at craft shows so that I could buy more yarn and knit more things. My mom and I did that for a couple of years and really enjoyed it. We made hats and mittens and felted pocketbooks, like back, that was a long time ago when felted pocketbooks were a thing. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that. I thought that was, I don't know, just random thoughts, I guess, but it's a really cool episode to see all of her sweaters. I think it'd be cool to do something like that, but I think she said it took 4 hours to like do it and try it all on and talk about everything, and then I can only imagine how long it took to edit it, because she edited it down. She got it down to about, it was over 2 hours still, but it wasn't 4 hours worth of whatever. But anyway, yeah. So kind of random without the show notes and all of the whatever. But yeah, I think that's all I have. This is going to be the last episode of the year. So I will see you again in 2020. And yeah, let's see. Queen City Yarn Chat, I usually save for the end. Janice and I are taking a little break at the end of the year, just to spend some time with family and friends and not be tied to the shop. You know, I think everyone needs a break. So what we're going to do is we're still going to have the shop open at queencityyarn.com, but there'll be a banner, and you'll get an email if you happen to purchase something letting you know that orders that are placed after this Friday, which is the 20th, will not ship until next year. Just because we want some time to feel just with family, you know? And so, yeah, we have lots of fun things coming up for the new year. We have a lot of shows coming up, and we need to update that stuff on the website, and we'll be doing that here shortly to let you know all the events that you can find us at next year. And yeah, I think that's it. What other Queen City stuff do we have going on? I don't know. I didn't do show notes. So, you know. Anyway, one thing I did do that I'm going to add in at the end after this is I went around my house and I took pictures of some of the handmade Christmas decorations that I have in my home. I took some photos of some of the ornaments hanging on my pencil tree that I showed the video of last time, which I'm sorry that video was definitely like shaky, and I don't have a steady hand for holding my phone and trying to like video, so that didn't work out that well. So, but I mean, you could see it. So thanks for everyone who checked that out at the end of the last episode. But I took my camera and I got some photos of some of the ornaments on that tree. And then I also took photos of, there's ornaments on that tree that my great-grandmother crocheted, that my grandmother and, that my mom cross-stitched, and things that she painted. I have a wooden Santa that my dad carved for me in there, or hanging on that tree. And then also around my home, my grandmother painted ceramics. My dad's mom painted ceramics. And so I have a Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. I have a snowman. I've got the green tree that has the little lights on it that everybody seems to have. And I've got a smaller white one. But so those are some of the things that I took photos of as I walked around my home and just looked at the things about like our decorations, the things that are really meaningful to me, that make it feel really like Christmas. And so anyway, I thought I'd share some of that with you. I've really enjoyed kind of doing the handmade ornaments all year long. I'm definitely going to continue that next year. It brought me a lot of joy to get that new tree and hang all those on there. And yeah, just with the things that I have of my grandmother's sitting around the house, the things that she made, the things that I have that my mother made and my dad, it feels like home, you know, even more like home, even though they're not here, like at my home with me. I feel them in their presence. And it makes me think about good memories that I have with them over the holidays. So anyway, stay tuned for that. And I think that's all. Sorry for this like haphazard and randomly wordy episode. I hope that you enjoy it. And yeah, until 2020, happy knitting!